some of the information about the future calls and the future possibilities to capitalize these results of today's and to use them in the future in the new territories of the Via Dinarica and wider. So later on, we can have a discussion about how we see our situation in the current, also in the view of the current pandemic, and how we see our future and the development in the next few years covered by the next MED and Adrian program time. So now let me share the screen with you with a short presentation of our project. We are a community that includes 24 module projects that are covered by 7 partners of the Sustainable Tourism Project. So these are, the lead partner is DIBA from Spain. They're covering this part of the Mediterranean coast together with southern Portugal. We have Plan Bleu in France, covering the Mediterranean part of France. Then Adriatic Ionian community that is covering the whole Italy and part of the Balkans, so part of the territory that we are addressing today. So we have also together today with us representatives from IEA, and we will give them the word at the beginning of the discussion time. Then today's workshop is organized by RDI in Paris, that we're covering Slovenia and Northern Croatia. We have UNIMED covering South Mediterranean, and University of Thessaly covering Greece and Cyprus. These are all the 24 projects that we are covering. So we don't have our own contents within the horizontal projects, but we are trying to communicate, to capitalize, and to transfer the results of all these projects that are named here. I will later on show also the community catalog, explaining more in detail what are these projects about and what are their main results. So as said, we are 7 partners of the Sustainable Tourism Project. We are covering 24 modular projects in the within the Mediterranean space. What are our main activities? When we started the project a year ago, or in a bit more than a year ago, we are trying to cover 3 different dimensions within mapping of stakeholders. So the first, what we did was map the stakeholders, who we want to address, who we want to communicate with in transferring the results. So we have a dimension of tourism policies. We want to address the future tourism policies, the cohesion policies, so how the European money is used in the frame of the tourism development, and also especially within the policies, also the Mediterranean policies, because we're talking about Mediterranean countries. Our next and very important activities is also organization of transferring workshops, where we invite the possible takers of the results. So this today is one of such events, where we are presenting the results of our projects to new possible partners, to new possible regions and areas that would like to implement these results. And the third and rather important thing is capitalization of this. So trying to bring the outcomes, the most important things, how to include them into policies. And we are going to do that by organizing national and regional debates. So each of the partners, each of the, what we call ourselves antennas, each of the antennas will organize a few transferring workshops, and also these national and regional debates, trying to include the best practices and good results into future policies. So what our main focus is on transferring and capitalization of these results and policy recommendations in basically in 3 fields. So enhancing attractiveness of tourist offer, addressing tourism pressures to the environment, to the society, especially in small communities, and then also participate in strengthening and planning of management practices. This is the area covered by the modular projects. As you can see, it's quite the same that is covered by sustainable tourism project partners. So it's the Mediterranean coast, including Malta, Cyprus, South Greece, and as associated partners, there are some guys also from Northern Africa. What we did so far and where we are. So we, some of the projects, the 17 projects are already closed. So they have been going on in the period from 2016 till 19. They are finished now, but we are trying to capitalize on those results, transfer the best practices. And this is all included in the catalog of outputs and results. So we have an online catalog that I will share with you later on. And it's a systemized approach to knowing what these projects have done and what can be used and it is interesting to use further on. We are using instruments towards advocacy. So we're working on stuff that is going around Athens political declarations. We have been participating in 4 policy fact sheets and policy recommendations. And of course, we are using all the modern communication tools to get as wide reach as possible in the Mediterranean, in Brussels, and further. This is how a catalog of outputs looks like if you open it online. It includes the projects that have already been that are already closed. Today we're going to present. Today we're going to hear about 2 of the projects that have already been closed. One is EMbleMatic. Well, then the next one is MedFest, and also Quentin is with us from Laberscape, a project that started last year in January. But they already have some results, and we believe that it's interesting what they are doing. So he will share their information with us also. So what can you, if you search our catalog, what you can find? Most of all, you can find more manuals and online tools. So it's a mixture of more like academic approach. So they did a base plan. There a lot of research has been done on different aspects of tourism in the Mediterranean, and some of the results are compendiums of this research done. And then based on the research, some of the methodologies were developed, and also some online tools and some not online, but like Excel fact sheets where you can use. They're ready to use. They're published online. That you can take a look, adopt to your situation, and use in further development in your destinations. All the results were also harmonized in a way that there is a search the med tool, which also makes the search for results easier. And these are this is a web page of the Sustainable Community project, available on the MED program platform. And we are also present in these communication tools. After the workshop, we will share all today's presentations with you. So you will get all this information also in your mailboxes. Now I would like to share the screen also with our with the catalog of the community. And the catalog, it's fine. Yeah. So here on the web page of the MET program, you have to click on sustainable tourism. Here you have a catalog of outputs and targets. You can either download the full catalog here and you get a PDF, or you have a list of all the projects that are included in catalog in their 2 or 3 most important results. So you are invited to take a look here. Some of the results we will see later on with the presentations are very useful, and Dan and I believe that can also be used in the Via Dinarica destinations, because they were developed in this close Mediterranean or Adriatic space, and some of them are really useful for further to be used further on. So now I give the floor again to Dan to introduce our first speaker.
Okay, thank you, Dunya. I will not be long. So with us, we have a representative from EMbleMatic project, which focused previously on mountain areas and developing sustainable eco-journeys, which is quite similar, or it follows the same path as a Via Dinarica development stage. So Kostas, I would like to give the floor to you. And if you can just give us your presentation on what EMbleMatic did in these mountain areas and mountain regions. And all of the participants, you are kindly asked, if you have any questions, you can write them into the chat box, or you can save them up for later. So Kostas, the word is yours.
Thank you very much, Dayan, and thank you, Dunya, for inviting us to present our experience about our EMbleMatic Ecojourneys. Start with sharing my screen.
I don't see it yet.
Yep, here it is. Can see it now?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Well, so as Dayan has already said, and Dunya, we are the EMbleMatic project. It's a project that has been already finished at the first stage of a modular project. And we are invited here to present our best practices from our EMbleMatic project and from our EMbleMatic Mediterranean Mountains network. So the main key points of the presentations is to present ourselves and what we are doing, to present the EMbleMatic projects, and what is more important, to present the Ecojourneys from an idea to the final tourism product. And finally, of course, what was the outcome for our project. You probably, some of you have heard about us, somebody maybe have not heard about us. Exactly who we are an EMbleMatic Mediterranean Mountain Network. The network was launched back in 2013, so it's almost 8 years now. And this was launched under the initiative of 3 rural areas in France, in Greece, and in Bulgaria, working within the framework of LEADER program. So LEADER program is financed by the European Agricultural Fund of Rural Development. So these 3 areas are mountainous areas, but based in wider rural areas. We had 3 main common challenges, and these common challenges were the preservation of the patrimonial values from endogenous and exogenous threats, from threats coming from the inside, from the mountains as themselves, but also from the environment, from the outside. The second challenge was to share the positive experience and good practices in all of the involved mountains. And the third one was to increase the international reputation and recognition of the mountains, although there were mountains that already were very famous that included in this network. For example, from Greece, we were representing Mountain Olympus. We had Mountain Etna from Italy, and Gran Sasso mountain also from Italy. So a lot of already recognized mountains. The initial idea in order to create a network were to create the criteria that the members should fulfill in order to be part of this emblematic Mediterranean mountain network. We started with 6 criteria, but within the project, within the emblematic project, within the Interreg Med program, we had a lot of work done in order to finalize them and in order to make them the constitutional criteria that the members should fulfill. These 10 criteria, you can see them in the slide, is the institutional recognition, power of inspiration. So the mountains have to be power of inspirations, that sustainability and an anthropogenic environment exists. So we're talking about living mountains, not the mountains that are only a rock or without villages, without people living there. The reputation of the mountain, the Mediterranean cultural identity, the picturesque landscape, the proud local people, very important aspect, legend and myths, existence of legend and myths, existence of particular ecosystem, and existence of particular historic places. So 10 criteria that the members of the network had to fulfill. So the network values have been elaborated, and we have created 4 values. The first one was to apply a global sustainable approach. So we're not working as a mountain one by one, but as a network. So it is a global process of sustainable approach. Second, to preserve the cultural and natural heritage and the experience that is associated to it. So it's not only about tangible, but also about intangible experience. To be an open mountain, gathering value through people. And when we're talking about people, we're talking about visitors, but also local people, and to cooperate to transnational and interterritorial projects. And this is something that has successfully started back in 2013 and it is continuing until now. So a first idea about the project and the network. EMbleMatic stands for a project with the title of EMbleMatic Mediterranean Mountain as Coastal Destinations of Excellence. That was founded through the Interreg Med program. You can see that there were 1 project, 1 voice, but 9 assets. So we have 9 different mountains, 9 different entities representing 9 mountains from around the Mediterranean Sea. So I will start from the left to the right, from France, from Spain, Petraforca mountain from Catalonia in Spain, and the Serra de Tramudana mountain from Mallorca in Spain. From France, Canigó mountain from Occitanie, and the Saint Victoire mountain from Paca region. From Italy, Etna from Sicily and Gran Sasso from Abruzzo, from Albania, Tsika, and finally from Greece, Olympus from Central Macedonia and Thessaly, and the Ptiloritis mountain from Creta. The aim was to create and test a new and radically different tourism offer based on the assets of the hinterland areas of the selected mountains that will be able to offer a sustainable and responsible tourism. And this tourism is alternative to both sun and beach tourism and to the tourism that going to the mountain summits. So we were focusing in the hinterland, in the area between the summits, where we had already an important number of visitors, and the sea that is near the mountains. Sometimes the seas on the mountains, on the foothills of the mountains, that were already very populated with tourists. So the idea, the project was based in 3 different stages. The first one was a phase of studying our background, and the main aim of this was to identify the aspects that can be understood as emblematic of the involved areas. This is the time that we have been working with the 10 criteria of the emblematic Mediterranean mountain network. So these aspects was the issues that can distinguish them from other territories. What makes this mountain different in order to cooperate within the framework of these cooperation projects. And the final outcome of study was to define a series of common criteria to be fulfilled for future network members. The next step, and this was very important, was the testing first. The testing phase, but started with the designing of testing actions in which 9 eco-journeys that have been previously conceived hand in hand with local stakeholders. It was important that the local stakeholders participated in the process of designing these 9 eco-journeys in all of the involved 9 areas. And these were implemented or on the field. The eco-journeys were based on 30 common attributes that were related first to the basic characteristics, second to the associated service, third to the ethics and sustainability issues, fourth to the management and governance, and finally to the marketing strategies. So the 30 common attributes were belonging to these 5 different areas of and thematics of attributes. And finally, we had the transferring phase, which was with a scope to build up a transferring plan that will gather the results of a series of discussion sessions with local stakeholders. And when we're talking about local stakeholders, we're talking about owners of enterprises, elected representatives, local tourism councils, local populations, all of them in order to provide the practical to other mountain areas that experience the same dynamic like our mountains. But what exactly is an eco journey? It was an initial idea that was transformed to a product. The eco journey, if we want to define it, its roots of experiential tourism across selected places of each of the 9 mountain areas belonging to the network. The routes should contribute to overcome the network's common challenges. For example, the unbalanced tourist flow between the coastline and the mountain summit and the hinterland areas, the marked seasonality of the areas, the absence of economic benefit for the hinterland areas from the tourist activities. And in order to define this eco journey, it was not an easy task. 30 hours of local workshops with 100 different participants from 86 different organizations in these 9 mountains have proved the level of involvement of the local stakeholders. 1,000 kilometers and 100 hours of site visits from the partners and from the external experts took place within the duration of the project. And what areas we cover? We cover a total area of 12,000 square kilometers. And 1/3 of it is protected area, are protected areas, and the 65 rest is a perimetric area. Areas that are under 55 different protection tools with 583 recorded flora species and almost 900 recorded fauna species. And what is very important, since we're talking about Mediterranean area, 670 kilometers of coastline that is near these 9 different mountains. So the eco journey was an idea in order to design the eco itinerary and finally to create a tourist product. And this was a tourism guide. You can see here the example of Olympus tourism guide, a tourism guide that was similar for the 9 different mountains. And this was created. This was exactly the difference of having 9 mountains working on their own. 9 common tourism guides with the same legend, with the same routes, with the same 30 attributes. That was also very important. And what is also very important, it was to monitor the sustainability of these 9 eco journeys, using not using your own car to go there, using, for example, train, or trying to be accessible for people with problems of mobility, or using local people in order to create and to support these specific eco journeys. So if we want to see at this moment the video about our mountain, about our 9 mountains, can you?
Yeah, the video isn't loading yet.
Can you see the video, Diane?
No, not yet.
No?
We see your presentation, our final products.
Okay, so probably I have to share YouTube.
Share different
Yeah,
screen.
yeah. Now?
Yeah, we can see it now.
Oui.
Kostas, could you please also send the link of this video and paste it in the chat box so that
of course,
participants can also look it up for themselves?
Of course. Oh, sorry. Yeah. So I will continue now with the rest part of the presentation. So we were so what was the outcome of the project, of this 3-year projects, was to communicate our network and our common values. And this communication effort were based on the creation of the network identity. So we produced a fact sheet for each mountain, a charter for the network, a poster for the network, to create the Ecojourneys communication tools, the videos, the tourism guide, and the maps. you have seen the video of the network, but there were 9 different windows and 9 different spots for each one of the mountains in English, in local languages, in several languages. To implement the dissemination actions, we have organized an international conference. We have participated in external events. We have elaborated press inserts, media trips with professional journalists from the tourism sector. And we try to use, of course, all the existing channels of communication like social media. Some of the lessons we learned during the implementation of the project, and it's not only about the project, it's also about the continuity of the network, was that the first of all, the heterogeneity factor, the needs and the need to reach compromises. We're talking about mountains, but everyone was different. So there were different needs, there were different aspects, there were different ways of confronting situations that we were seeing. It's true that there is the path towards sustainability is long and very tortuous. It's difficult to work in a network because there is also an issue of human relationships between the involved parties. What is also very important was the need to involve the local actors in each step from conception to implementation in order to make this eco journey one of their belongings, because they have been involved from the conception to the implementation. The adaptability and the replicability of tools and methodologies are an important factor of success. And this is what we are trying to do now in order to check, in order to monitor if our tools could be adapted and replicable. For this reason, we also have created a quality referential protocol that represents the beginning of a new step. It's also the starting point of quality brand for all the future new eco itineraries which could be developed by all the new members of the EM network, the European Mediterranean Mountain Networks. I will finish with this video of the quality referential, but I would like before that to let you know about our current labs, because network is an active, informal but active network. We are working under an Erasmus Plus project, Youth for EMM project, aiming to raise awareness of young people to make them aware of the natural and cultural diversity of their environment, and to help young people to become drivers of change to better protect their environment and territory, not only nowadays, but also in the future. We are working in a CLLD LITER program, which is called the EMM2 project, in order to test the criteria of becoming a member of the network. So we have the 10 criteria. We are testing them in mountains that would like to be partners of our network. And we are also at the restricted call from Interreg Med program, the EMM Plus project, in order to test our transfer guide for the implementation of eco itineraries from the emblematic Mediterranean mountains as coastal destinations of excellence. You can see here our communication and information, website, email, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram accounts. And I would like to finish with a quality referential video in order to see what is different about our mountains. That's all from our side. We'll be here also for the quick discussion session. So whatever you want to ask us, we're here. Thank you.
Thank you, Kostas. It was a really nice, short but sweet presentation. When we were looking at results from previous projects, the EMbleMatic, I specifically work quite a lot in the Via Dinarica sector for Slovenia. So when I checked the results that you produced in the outputs, I immediately thought that it would be a nice thing to present what you did as a partnership in different countries, because some of the results can be replicated for the Via Dinarica Association and managing bodies that are included in this long distance hiking trail. But I will also touch that a little bit later on in my presentation. Yeah, as already mentioned, if our participants today have any questions, you can write them into the chat box or save them up for later, so we can have a little bit of discussion at the end of each presentation. I would like to take this opportunity now and give the microphone to Quentin from Labelscape project. Maybe just a short presentation of how we chose these different presenters today. Kostas already mentioned EMbleMatic, who focused on presenting and doing eco itineraries in mountain areas. Quentin is with Labelscape, which focuses on certification of different sectors. And I think that as a Via Dinarica community, we can take a lot from all of these different presenters today. So, Quentin, if you are available, if you
I'm here.
You can share your presentation, and the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very much. I think you need to unshare your screen.
You can just share it up, because it will go over it.
Yeah, does it work?
Yeah, it's working.
Okay, so I'm gonna, hi everybody. First, I'm gonna make a quick presentation of Labelscape. My name is Quentin. I'm French and I work from Toulouse in south of France. I work with an engineering school that's an institutional partner of Labelscape, and I'm in charge of communication for the project. So my first slide, there we go, is actually based on our project poster, and it's the first page of our project brochure. You can see the title of the project, which is Integration of Sustainability Labels into Mediterranean Tourism Policies. So that's what Labelscape is looking at. Is looking at different ways of how we can use certification as tools to develop sustainable tourism. And we are working around the Mediterranean area. So there is a list of the partners here. And basically we have one partner in Portugal, one partner in Spain, 2 partners in France, 2 in Italy, 2 partners in Slovenia, 1 partner in Croatia, and 1 partner in Greece. There is 10 partners altogether, and 8 of them have territorial activities, and 2 partners are just in support functions. The project started in November 2019 and will go to the end of next June, so June 2022. The 2 key things we look at is developing mechanism for the integration of sustainability labels. So that's working with our partners on their own territorial activities. So each partner is at a different stage of their projects. Some of them are still looking into which label will fit their situation better and will help them to achieve what they want to achieve. some partners are already into that process and they need help with, or they need support with the whole process of certification. And we also have some partners that already have a very good certification system, but they want to work on monitoring, for example, and improvement of their systems. So my next slide is about what we are actually doing within the project. So the first thing is the territorial activities, which are carried by the partners. So each of them work within their territory and try to federate people around their projects and then have their own activities. The project itself was meant to be based on meeting all together every 6 months for steering committees and bigger workshops. So far we haven't been able to meet. I think all the partners met once before I arrived, so that was early last year. And since then, because of COVID, we haven't been able to travel. So the program was based on 4 workshops. One was going to be about sustainability standard and certifications. And we actually had the workshop online. And the 3 other workshops, one was about certification roadmap and value chain. The other one was about sustainable product development and marketing. And the last one, was about communication and awareness raising. So we are trying to have these activities online, and we find different ways to achieve that, but that's not the way the project was planned anyway. We held 3 online workshops this spring. One was about the participatory approaches for cooperation of local stakeholders, and that was held by our Slovenian partners of PINA. So they have a very great knowledge on that topic, and they shared some tips on how to get people on board. They also produced an interesting document about how to hold workshops, and that's on our website. You can find it on our website. Our second online training was about COVID-19 recovery and sustainable tourism, and we had an expert from Australia to come and talk with us. So he had a good view of what was happening worldwide in these current times. And the last workshop was certification roadmap, and that was our Portuguese partners presenting the work they were doing with Biosphere, which is one of the most spread label in terms of sustainable label for tourism. We are also producing expert videos. The first one is about sustainability standards, and you can find it online. If you go on YouTube and type in Labelscape, you will see our profile, and there is the main interview, and then the Q&A session is divided in different videos. And we are going to produce 3 more videos. They are in the process of being made, and they basically follow the topics of the workshops. So one video will be about marketing and awareness raising, one will be about certification roadmap, and one will be about sustainable product development and marketing. And so one of the key things Labelscape wants to produce is an online platform, so that territories that want to get involved with a label or certification process to develop tourism policies can go to in a one-stop shop and find information that they need to get started. And the platform will be built on 4 modules. The first one is already online, and I've put a link here, I think. Can you see my screen here? Yep. So that's a database of not all, but a lot of sustainable tourism labels that exist. And we've put it in a way that you can search at the top of the screen. You can add some search criteria and find labels that suit your situation. And then you can go and click on the link to go to the certification page and find out more information. So that's the first module of our platform, and it's already online. The second module is a forum. So the idea is for destinations to be able to come in and ask questions to other destinations or share experience or have a debate on topics. So that's being developed now by our Spanish partners, and that will be online within 2 weeks, I believe. And then modules 3 and 4 are in preparation phase. Module 3 is about capacity building toolkits, and module 4 is a support system for implementing tourism policies. So that's really practical tools for destination to help them along the journey of getting a certification for their destination. So that's my presentation, just to show you what we are doing and what we are trying to achieve. Yeah, if you have any questions.
Thank you, Quentin. Yeah, we'll save the questions for later. I also included the link for the Labelscape channel in the chat. So if you want to see the videos produced until now, you can just click on it and it will guide you there. Now we go back to Dunya, and she will give us a short presentation on the MedFest project and some of their outputs that could be useful also for developing additional activities or additional services along the Adinarica trail. So.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you also to Quentin and to Kostas for giving us these interesting presentations. When we were preparing with Dan these contents for today, based on the catalog of the projects that we have produced and I have introduced before, that is available online, we thought that we really wanted to include also MedFest. This is another project that has already been done; it's finished. Because their results are slightly similar with the EMbleMatic way of thinking, which is to spread the tourist projects outside the main tourist currents present in, especially in the summer. As like in EMbleMatic, we have these mountains that are really full on top of them. And we have coastal areas that are also packed with tourists in this short tourist season in the summer. And then we have also all these hinterland that could be used for that is really interesting, that has a lot of heritage, but is not so recognized and is not so well presented. Since the MedFest, the lead partner of MedFest is unfortunately not available today. As you know, this May is full of everything, of many now being online, things are sometimes easier. So May is really packed with different events. So unfortunately today the MedFest partners are not present with us, but they prepared a very nice short presentation, and I'd like to share it with you now. I will not take a lot of time, because we are slightly behind schedule, but I think it's we still have time until 12. I think it's good to have a good base for later on for discussion, for you to understand what can be taken from these interesting projects that are either finished or still going on, because EMbleMatic started, and now MedFest is giving also some ideas, and then as Quentin introduced Labelscape. That is also interesting from the point of view of from the policy recommendations and applications in different areas, where you have to prove that you are actually sustainable. So MedFest focused on culinary heritage experiences. So something that is very familiar, that very well known in the Mediterranean, which is good food. So more to the south you go, but the better the food is. I have to be honest, even if you compare Slovenia, which is very North Mediterranean, with south of Italy or with Greece, the food there is, we have to admit, it has more taste. So what they tackled this challenge in the MedFest of having new or developing the already existing sustainable tourism products based on culinary heritage. As we all know, Mediterranean has abundant and long and very diverse culinary traditions. To prove that, we have approval of that because UNESCO World Heritage, they included Mediterranean diet into the representative list of intangible cultural heritage. So if it's recognized by UNESCO, we know that it has a unique world. It is a very unique and it's worldwide important. So within the MedFest results, they tried to focus the creation or the evolvement of tourist destination around culinary heritage, but also including widening it to community prosperity. Because if you want to have local dishes, local vegetables, local meat, you have to have a local community that grows that. So it contributes to community prosperity. And it also, by that, it improves the quality of life in rural areas. So basically, they had three results. They created tools and instruments. One was to diversify the tourism sector in terms of products and seasonality. So it's like with EMbleMatic, they wanted to introduce new products that are not so well known right now, especially not in the mass tourism, and they wanted to increase seasonality, to prolong the seasonality, not to focus it only on the summer months. They also focused on bringing tourism development to the coastal hinterlands and to safeguard culinary heritage for future generations. So also the heritage was an important view of that. Their main project results are: there is a roadmap for sustainable culinary criteria. So it's a tool that helps you if you want to develop something in your own area. There is a criteria telling you if you are on a way to do it sustainably or not. Then there is a planning strategy. So it's the next step, how you plan it, or it's a step that you take. Both of the results you use at the same point at the beginning. So you can use their planning strategy to plan your new and sustainable culinary experience by using the criteria. And at the end, as the result, if you are sustainable and you develop something, you can be put on a map. So there is an interactive map available online with sustainably culinary heritage experiences. So it's intended for the visitors, for the tourists who want to have a culinary heritage experience. So as I said, one is the roadmap, and it's a tool designed for local stakeholders willing to confirm their sustainability of their initiatives. So if you're at the beginning of something, of creating a product, or you already have it, but you are not sure, or you would like to check where is it sustainable and where it's not, and where something can be added or further developed, you can use this roadmap of these criteria. Thank you. So there is also a planning strategy that helps you plan your culinary experience. So it includes development scenarios. So you can ask yourself where you want to go from here, where you want to go from your standpoint. What is your goal? It gives guidelines to prepare action plan, and it includes some aspects of capacity building activities and recommendations. So for local communities that are maybe lacking some kind of knowledge, there are these recommendations how to add this knowledge. And as I mentioned in the end, we have produced a map. So it's an interactive map available on the map platform. You have to go to MedFest project, and it's available here. The link is given here. What is good news is that also new destinations can be added to the map. Currently, or within the project, the University of Barcelona was the responsible partners to add new destinations. Now, if anybody would have some kind, if you'd like to express your wish to be included in this, if you check the criteria and you think that your experience is in line with this criteria, you can either contact us or contact University of Barcelona directly. If you don't get any reply, you can contact us and we will put you in contact with the MedFest lead partner, because the platform is still in operation. So this is it from my side about MedFest. We will continue now with the last presentation with the Via Dinarica, before we will ask Pascal from the Med Product Program to give us a short introduction. So I would like to remind you what we have seen today until now. Costas presented us the EMbleMatic project, which was the mountainous hinterland regions between the coast and between the mountain tops. So the introduction of eco-itineraries and eco-journeys, how to develop this very culturally and naturally rich areas, how to spread the tourism from the main focal points to the hinterlands. Then we listened to about labelscape, that includes geographical labels and these generally applied labels in saying something, okay, we are sustainable, we earned this label to prove it. And then we shortly heard about MedFest, which is using culinary heritage in prolonging the seasonality and including this culinary experience from the Mediterranean area into tourist maps. So now, since today we have gathered here around Via Dinarica trails, Dejan will shortly give us some info on Via Dinarica so that everybody understands what it is before we continue.
Yeah, maybe participants for today. Participants at today's workshop are coming from different backgrounds. We have some representatives from Sustainable Tourism Project. We have members of Via Dinarica Association and Alliance. We are from different spheres, so from NGOs, from regional authorities, from managing bodies, and from project offices. So I think that everybody can, at the end of today's presentation, I hope that everybody will take something from today's workshop and try to work with it later on. Since it was quite a lot of time since we last met, I thought it would be a nice addition to the presentation today to give you some of the insights or information on what we are doing currently in the Via Dinarica Slovenia platform, or Via Dinarica Slovenia trail. But for those who are not familiar yet, Via Dinarica is basically a long-distance hiking trail which connects the entire Balearic Mountains in the Western Balkans. It starts its path in Slovenia, and it then goes from Croatia, Bosnia, Montenegro, Albania, Kosovo, and so on. So it's basically connecting the really rich cultural and historical areas in what is known as the Dinaric Mountains. in Slovenian part, we as a regional development agency are managing body for Slovenian part, and we are, when we started this role, when we assumed it, we started also developing different activities and so on. Our main focus is to develop new services and to use Via Dinarica as a platform for development of new tourist products and experiences, especially in the field of outdoor tourism. We also are a specialized travel agency and tour operator, so all of the programs and products that we have an option to sell to end guests or to find cooperation with different tourist providers and so on. As Dunja mentioned, certification is one of the talking points because everybody is working quite hard in the field of sustainability. Slovenia took a step forward in this sense, and it created a national certification, and this is called Slovenia Green. We as a destination are also included in this certification. So last year in 2020, we received Slovenia Green Bronze, and we are one of the only destinations that includes 6 municipalities that has succeeded in this on this level. As far as Via Dinarica goes, we are working closely with our hiking associations in the region. We have 4 main hiking associations with about 300 members, but we are working closely with their leadership and their people who are in charge for marking the locations or marking the path in nature. So some of the activities, how we started, were basically we developed new trail, which started at Nanos Mountain, and then it went all around our destination. We started with promotional activities, so we did quite a lot of different materials, from hiking maps, promotional videos, promotional photos, and so on. We did last year in 2019 and 2020, we did quite a large promotional campaign together with our national Slovenian Travel Board, our national tourism body. And it was basically a digital campaign focused on Google marketing and Facebook ads. So we received quite high impact. We received really a lot of different persons who are thinking about hiking the Via Dinarica trail. Unfortunately, it came in a really bad time for travel. So epidemic has closed Slovenia, but it also closed Europe, and incoming travel is at the moment non-existent. But we are working with those who express their interest to arrive or to visit Via Dinarica. So we are planning their holiday, their hiking holidays for next year or for the year when hiking or when borders will be open again. At the moment, we focus on Slovenian hikers, so we are working with different groups who are hiking the Via Dinarica trail, and they are basically they will be working as a sort of ambassadors of Via Dinarica Slovenia hiking trail. Some of the new things that happened in this last period is that our main mountain that we have, so-called Snežnik Mountain, was included into UNESCO World Heritage Site as a UNESCO World Heritage Site because of its primeval beech forests. It's a part of larger EU European entry list, so it connects different countries from Germany to Slovenia and so on. But it's important because it gives recognition as a really important natural site, and for those people who are hiking and who would like to experience undiscovered dynamic mountains, it's one of the additional selling points or additional attributes that give additional value to the entire Via Dinarica trail. these are some of the photos from last year when we worked with our hiking association from Postojna area, who did markings to mark the trail. So the guests can now have digitalized versions of the GPX. They have the printed maps, but the trail itself is also marked in field, so there's less chance of people getting lost when they go on a self-guided tours around. Some of the promotional activities, this is aside from the protected part of the Stashnik Mountain, so it's a part of the natural area, natural reserve. But what I see as the most important attribute of Via Dinarica is the platform itself. It basically allows us to develop different tourism services and to encourage our local providers, providers of tourism, to find new things that they could offer to guests who are seeking for adventures in nature. So this year we started developing a cycling trail for mountain bike cyclists. We are working with specialized guides who are active in this field. So this is basically a company that will offer guided and self-guided tours on the trails with really nice areas, because we have seen a large increase in not just hikers, but also people visiting mountains with bicycles. So it's an important segment for our visitors. And at the end of this year, we will have also additional service that we will be able to offer to them. Some of the issues that we identify, there are a couple, and we are also trying to address them. Our mobility, so arriving at different locations has proven quite quickly, quite tricky. We try to encourage locals, so encourage local people, but also local enterprises to start looking in 20 towards the future and try to find innovation and specialize their offers so that they are not doing the same things that everybody else is doing, but to try to provide new, to try to basically see who the hikers, who the visitors of Via Dinarica Trail are and what are their needs. And when they identify their needs, try to find solutions for them. So along other things such as border crossing at the moment, which is quite difficult, we are also having quite some problems with monitoring, both with positive and negative impacts, which I have written here, and also with the management structure for the entire trail. I believe that these issues are quite similar to all countries included in the Via Dinarica and the Dinaric Mountains, and they could prove as a joint theme that could be addressed throughout different cooperations in the future. To try to find different solutions, to try to find best practices. Some of them we have seen today, some of them are definitely also available from other projects, but I think that this is the way to go forward in this in the development of Via Dinarica long distance hiking trail. One of the things that I haven't included here, but it's really important, is digitalization. Just for your information, last year we were discussing the possibility of doing completely digitalized online digitalized guide for the entire Slovenian trail. This means that we would develop a new app which would guide the hikers live from wherever they were on the destination. We were in talks with one of our high-tech companies, but unfortunately the prices for at the moment for that application were too high. But it's definitely one of the things that we will have to look to in the future, because we have seen from the questions that we receive from our visitors is that they do like the printed maps. They do like I mean, it's necessary to have it marked in nature, but also including digitalization or digital content is quite an important part, especially because it can address different aspects such as sustainability, guides, mobility, and so on. These are some of the questions that I have that we have prepared for later on for the discussion. But at the moment, this will be the end of my presentation, and I will also give the floor to Pascal because she will give us some of the insights in what Interreg Med programming period for 2021-2027 is considering, so that we will have basically a joint baseline for possible further cooperations and actions. Pascal, if you are here.
I'm really sorry, my camera crashed and I so.
Yeah, I have seen that you were disconnected. I have also given you now the co-host rights, so you can.
I will open my, but I can open my page.
I apologize because there was some noise outside. I haven't heard what you said.
Okay.
It's working, yeah.
Okay, not the first. Okay, so as DM said, I am Pascal Lagarde. I am a project officer for the network. I am also working with the sustainable tourism. So I will quickly give you an overview of the future program and what will come over the coming years. So first,
sorry, Pascal.
Yes.
Can you hear me? Yeah, it's a little bit hard to understand you. Do you maybe have a microphone? Can you check?
I do, actually. I do have it on my left. Ah.
Maybe it was a bit too far from your...
Okay, is it better now? Is it better?
Maybe a little bit, yeah. Yeah. Now it's a little bit better.
Okay. I apologize. It just crashed 1 minute ago. So, okay, I will go quickly. So I was saying that the new cooperation area, we are losing a Gibraltar from the United Kingdom because of Brexit, but we are welcoming two new countries.
Yeah, Pascal.
You don't hear me. Okay.
Yeah, it's really difficult.
Okay. I will go get some earphones. Okay.
Try that, yeah.
Is it better now?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit better, yeah.
Okay. Okay, so I was saying that we are welcoming two new countries, the Bulgaria, the whole country, and North Macedonia, and three new regions from Spain. That is Castilla-La Mancha, Extremadura, and Madrid. So this is for the new cooperation area that is bigger for the next programming period. Then, so this is, I'm sorry, I don't see if you can hear me, but this is mainly the new.
We can hear you now. Yeah, it's okay.
Okay. So this is the program strategy. I know it's a heavy slide, but you have almost all the information to explain what it will look like. Because we started to have a main goal, to find the main goal for the future area and program period, that is contributing to the transition towards a climate neutral society. And from this main goal, we subdivided it into actually 4 missions, but we have 3 main missions. That is, one will be on innovative sustainable economy. The second one will be on the protection and restoration of the natural environment and heritage. The third one will be to promote the greening areas. On top of that, we have a transversal mission that is more interesting for you, actually, is the sustainable tourism. It means that this thematic, the sustainable tourism, will be tackled through all the missions and the objectives of the program. So the projects on sustainable tourism will have more opportunities to transfer their results and to develop also new solutions for the area. For this, we will, in those missions, we will have specific objectives. The first one is right in the middle here, that will be on innovation. Another one will be on circular economy. Another one will be on the management of natural resources. The last one will be on the prevention of risk, including energy transition and transport. Those objectives are corresponding to the policy objectives proposed by the European Commission. So you have in front of it the correspondence, the PO1 that is on the smarter Europe, and the PO2 goes on the greener Europe. So we adapted the guidelines from European Commission to the Med area with the specific and the last one, the last main issue will be on the governance, Med governance. So this will be corresponding to the specific objective from the European Commission on governance. And on the bottom, on the bottom of the slide, you can see the type of project that will be tackled. The priority one on smarter med and green med. You will have the type of project, transferring, and strategic territorial project, because it will focus on specific territory decided by the member states of the program. And to answer the priority on the governance, we will have the type the thematic community project and the thematic community projects. They mainly correspond to the actual horizontal projects. So we will have one on innovation, one on restoration of the environment, one on green areas, and one on sustainable tourism. And the institutional project is more focusing on governance within all the initiatives and instances that are already working on all the thematics of the MED program. So this is mainly the strategy and the architecture of the program. You can find this slide and all the information on our website. More time really to understand what will be coming. And then this is a forecast on the next call for the project. I have to say that it's still under validation, and that is the optimistic option that I'm showing here. The first quarter, actually by October, November of this year, we are hoping to launch the first call on the priority 3, that is governance priority. So we will search for thematic community projects and institutional projects. that will work during the whole period, meaning until the 2027. So there will be the biggest projects. Then after that, when they are all set, we will start with the priority 1 and 2, that is on a smarter and greener med. It will be launched in the first quarter of 22. And then there you will find the study transferring projects. And later on in 2023, we will launch another call on the strategic territorial projects, depending on what will be the needs and the gaps we will observe on the territory. This is the beginning of the period, then we will have other goals launched, but now I cannot really tell you what will do afterwards. It will depend on how the first project will go on. So I went quick, but you have all the information on our website. And my last slide, even if you cannot see me, I'm sorry. But yes, I'm sure we will have the opportunity to meet each other. And I'm here for any question.
Yeah, thank you, Pascal. These are some of the not so nice, how would you say, not so pleasant working with the technology, because when you need it the most, it usually starts to not cooperate. Nevertheless, I think that some of the information that we received were quite clear, although the audio was a little bit off. We said that we will also give the presentations after the workshop, so we can have, so everybody will receive them on their emails, so they have it for further activities. Yeah, this is basically the conclusion of the presentations that we prepared for today. I will just share my last slide for the possible discussion. Now I would like to kindly invite you, if anybody has any comments, ideas or questions, they can you can just open up your microphones or write them into the chat box, so that we can have a little bit of open discussion, because it was also, if we would organize this event live, which was supposed to be, it was how it was supposed to be, then it's a little bit easier, because communication with person face-to-face is much easier than talking just to the television or computer screen. But nevertheless, maybe it's just some of the bullet points which when we were discussing how to basically present the previous projects, we first thought of disseminating them throughout territorial areas, such as countries, regions, and so on. I believe that it's also good to disseminate the results and outputs via team partnerships and so on. So Via Dinarica is something that connects all of us, and it's basically a platform which works in the main fields as sustainable tourism community. So it works in the field of protecting the environment, working with locals, and trying to basically produce new experiences. And I think the right way to go forward is to try to capitalize on all of the previous results, outputs, try to see what similar businesses or partners or institutions are doing, and work from then onwards. So some of the highlights, I mean, the bullet points is how can Via Dinarica connect results and tools from previous projects and include them into our own activities. What is the next chapter or next step for Via Dinarica Association? How can we connect environment, community, and experience? How can we implement different policies that were developed during this year? doing previous calls for proposals and doing different projects. And can we find suitable partnerships for the next call and basically work hand in hand forward. So if you identify any synergies with existing initiatives, or if you see a way of collaborating among your organizations in the field of sustainable tourism, you can just, you're kindly invited to give your thoughts or comments about this. Yes, Yelena.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jelena Krivčević. I work with the Regional Development Agency for Pratices, Como and Propeti in Montenegro. And we are a country lead office for Via Dinarica in our region. It has been really a pleasure for me to be here with you today, to hear what you had to say. I can see many synergies with many of the activities that we are doing here, such as promoting culinary heritage, developing sustainable mountain tourism offer, working with authentic mountainous communities in our region, promoting transhumance as one of the old traditions of not just Montenegro, but all over Balkans. And it's always good for us to hear what other similar organizations are doing, though we don't really have too many opportunities to do that. We don't have to reinvent hot water all over again. What really bothers me as a leader in our organization is the fact that many organizations here, when developing mountain tourism offer, really think of signalization only. And we feel that there are so many other things that need to be done for the complete experience for our guests. And that is what we mostly actually focus on. We are very much interested in whichever partnerships we can make. We are also very much interested in outputs and results of the old projects, because we would like to have access to that knowledge base. We are continuously preparing new proposals. Here we have currently open calls for cross-border cooperation projects for IPA countries between Montenegro and Kosovo, Montenegro, Albania, Montenegro and Serbia as well soon. So all the good ideas that you have had in your regions, in your countries that we could benefit from, we would be very open to hear it. I will send my contacts here on the chat, but maybe you can share it through email or something. If there are projects that are related to sustainable mountain tourism, rural development, cultural heritage, natural heritage, we are very much open to collaboration in those sectors.
Thank you. Yeah, definitely. I also encourage everybody to go to the website and inscribe to the newsletter list, so you will be up to date with all of the news that Sustainable Tourism Community is providing. I will also give the links to the website itself in the chat. Otherwise, thank you for your work, Jelena. It was nice hearing from Montenegro. Thierry, one of the first members of the Via Dinarica Association.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Dan.
Hello.
Hi, and everyone else. Yes, so I'm just representing Terra Dinarica, the country lead office for the Via Dinarica here in Bosnia, but I also have an outdoor adventure company, and we're involved with the Via Dinarica and products for some years now. there's actually so much to be said, and I think this was one of the the original ideas also, with having a network of all the countries that we could over time, obviously from organizing our own let's call it backyard, being able also being connected to each other throughout the region. I think your experience and your connection and the work that you've done with Interreg, I think it's a logical step for organizing something for the entire Via Dinarica in the future, and I think your experience there is valuable, and I'm sure that we can mobilize the various country lead offices and the various organizations here in the region, like what Jelena said, herself as well included, that organize in such a way that we come up with an interesting project, with an interesting project through the region, based on our previous experiences, your experiences now in the last years. So I definitely see all of us getting involved, but perhaps we would need more of a maybe have a project meeting, or have a meeting, again a CLO country lead office meeting where we can discuss this more in details at a later date. But as you put there, some of the things I just wanted to add, some of the things that we have we've started to discuss here. I mean, it's like this whole certification is, of course, green, Slovenia green. I mean, there's been discussions here about within Bosnia having some kind of Bosnia green. Sustainable tourism is becoming more and more interested, but we've had this discussion in the past. It's okay, so we have this whole network now, where we have the trail, let's put it that way. There's so much that can be shared, along all of the, I would say, the communities, the small businesses, the families that have their guest houses along the trail. So your experiences, stuff that you've been doing already there, I think it'd be an interesting discussion at a later date to see as to, what kind of certification can we start with. And I know, obviously, and I've had these kind of discussions before with global green destinations. Slovenia communities or villages are different from, for instance, some of our Bosnian communities. And we can't use the same kind of certification, structure, because we can, but it's going to take a long time to get there. But I think it'll be very interesting here, especially with tourism picking up pre-COVID, but now it'll pick up at some point again, and especially with the sustainable tourism being more interesting for European travelers as well. I think it's going to be very important for us to be on board there, and I see that as a great opportunity for us to work on. So you also mentioned, I just wanted to add just a little thing in there. You mentioned about, you were working on you were looking into the app, the platform, the guidebook online. I think that's, that is an interesting, that's obviously very important. I mean, we've had both in Bosnia. We had a guidebook, a Via Dinarica guidebook, which was more like a paper guidebook with Brad Guide, but it's all the information is also available on the Outdoor Active platform. I know there's lots of changes there with them as well. That might be something that we could look into as well, making it accessible. We're working on a project with them now, but it's more like a cycling project in the region, Belgrade to Dubrovnik. But I see that the IT, as you pointed out, the online is so important these days for the traveler. I think this is great. I mean, I'd love to see more of the materials that have come out of the project. So I'd love to see the material later on. But I think we definitely, all of us, need to have a kind of a follow-up meeting here and use this as a basis of you know, for the future, for a future project. And I do want to add one other thing into it. We really need to look into what I'd love to have more of a discussion about this and start to include Northern Macedonia into the, you know, into the family of Via Dinarica, how would I say, trail Via Dinarica countries. I think, you know, and I've seen Alexander here, Donev, included into the discussion. So I definitely would like to have that as a, you know, as a topic as well for us within the Via Dinarica, because it's such a logical, you know, next step. That's it really, and yeah, I look forward to moving this forward. Thank you for organizing this.
Yeah, not a problem. Thank you all for your comments and suggestions. As you said, this was meant as a first step towards the possible cooperation for the next period. So yeah, the meetings that will follow this workshop will be more focused towards on what are some of the topics that we could include or we should address as a community onwards. So that is not in so distant future from our side.
Yeah, what I would like to share at this point is also that we wanted also to include some information about Adrian Interreg program, because if you take a look at Via Dinarica, it's from one side of the Adriatic area and then going down south towards Greece, the Aegean coast. But on the other side of the Adriatic, there is Italy. So we wanted to include also the Adrian program, but it's, as I was informed by our contact point, the Adrian is the last program to open the calls. They are slightly behind compared to the other programs with preparing their program for the next period. So the IP, the so-called IP, operational or Interreg program. So the first calls are not expected before spring next year. That's why we also included Pascal, because Med program will probably one of the we'll prepare calls before, because the contents of the calls are more it is more known about what they will support within their calls. So yes, if we take today as some of the possibilities that can be further developed within Via Dinarica, and some of the partners that will decide, we can maybe right after holidays plan something to meet maybe in September, hopefully in person. No, hopefully in person. They wanted to do, I mean, we were really hoping to meet today in person. We were also discussing, because we had some funds. We were not able to travel for more than a year. So there is some money left that could be used for these preparatory activities. But yes, I think some early autumn, like right after Ferragosto holidays, where the whole Mediterranean is at the seaside, it would be wise to meet again and to discuss what are the single partners interested about, what could be the main red line to connect all of us, and which could be the calls. So of course, Med program is one of the options, but what are the other, either cross-border calls or Adriatic Ionian initiative? What could be the money source to continue with some of the activities that are foreseen for Via Dinarica? I know that Via Dinarica has different sources, but these programs are one of the possibilities.
Thank you, Dunia, for this additional info. Is there anybody else that would like to say something or give their thoughts? If not,
I have one last thing.
Oh, yeah.
I think Dunya, this is that would be a great idea. I was just chatting with Alexander. We had we planned to have like a regional meeting as part of there was the RCC. There was an RCC project, Regional Cooperation Council project, and we were planning to meet as country lead offices and those interested in in moving the Via Dinarica forward. I think we can start off. Maybe we can already start off with something online, something similar like this. It doesn't have to, it doesn't have to be big, but invite, all the country lead offices and from Slovenia to Macedonia, and then just maybe even identify what we already talked about some of the strategies, some of the the focuses that we saw throughout the region. And then we can already, at least share this also with you, and at least get to know each other. It doesn't have to take long, it'll be, we can share some documentation with you as well that we created during the last years. And maybe just put on the agenda some of the highlights, so that, so then when September comes, as what you were proposing, Dunya, that we can then, yes, preferably meet in person. That'd be great. I've had enough of Zoom and all of these online meetings. They're good, but it'll be good to meet online and meet in person. And but then we are kind of already have some kind of preparation. We know what we can be focusing on. We don't have to start also from scratch. That would be just my recommendation.
Yes, and then in this view, yeah, you have to mute each other, otherwise there's an echo. In this regard, maybe if you can suggest, or Dejan will do a doodle, in the whole Via Dinarica area, maybe we could meet online sometime in June before the holidays start, because I know we were part of ex-Yugoslavia, no? And there is this difference between us and the rest of the Mediterranean, that actually the big companies that are like the production companies, they have this same system that Europe uses, and they have these holidays in the first half of August. But the rest of us, we are not so focused on August, because then in August you have like a really focused seasonality where everybody goes everywhere and it's packed. So actually our holidays usually start already in July. So we try to spread, also in our company, we spread between July and August, so that some people are still present at work. So yeah, this was me thinking out loud when it would be good to meet, maybe end of June, before the July holidays start. And then we could prepare a few things, like originating from the project that were presented today, but include some other project results from the other modulars that we think could be applicable in Via Dinarica. And then we would ask the partnership, and then we would ask the Via Dinarica representatives where they would find us, because probably we would have to focus on like 2 to 3 different contents, and we would create 2 to 3 different partnerships, because there is a limit. Usually the programs, when with the calls, they limit the number of partners now. So not everybody will be able to take part in all the project that will be prepared. So yes, maybe this is why could be one of the conclusions, that we try to meet again online in June and have a focused debate on what the single countries and regions are aspiring in the coming years.
Yes, that'd be good. And because we can then also, regardless of which fund, or no, regardless of what funding is out there, you might have, okay, maybe the funding opportunity only allows for 3 partners, but at least if we're aware of, that if we're aware of a certain project that is happening, then there might be also additional funding coming from another source in another country. Sometimes you can work as a single country because of a donor, and other times you have these kind of, you know, more like Adrian Interreg, regional funding opportunities. So yes, for me, June, you know, end of June works. Maybe the others, I don't know, that are here right now, but we can definitely, they can say, you know, whether they're available, but we can definitely use the regional network, and I can, you know, through Terra Dinarica, we can send out an email to all of us, talking a little bit about what we've heard here today, and then, that we plan a, you know, an online meeting to discuss these things as what you were suggesting.
I would also like to give the word to Alexander now. Otherwise, yeah, I agree with everybody. We'll find a suitable date so that we can meet regarding these activities. Alexander, can you hear me? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, hi everybody, and thank you for this workshop. And I think it's a great base for what we're discussing now, and a logical step forward for everything that Thierry mentioned. So, and thank you for also mentioning North Macedonia. I'm glad to see that also in the Interreg Mediterranean plan for 21-27 we're included as a country. I run Macedonia is an organization for sustainable travel and responsible outdoor activities, and we already worked quite some years for Via Dinarica, and we just finished a project that was funded also by the EU and administered by the World Bank on Via Dinarica in North Macedonia. So yeah, I it's kind of like the logical next step is to as a region, we all discuss for how we can take this further on, and just an idea also for what Dunya also mentioned, and Thierry, maybe you know, these countries that has similar challenges and they're on a similar level of development on Via Dinarica, maybe these are, you know, this is how we can maybe think in order to, you know, using some of the funds that are available for some scopes of what or activities that some you know, donor is funding. So maybe of course discuss it regionally, but maybe, you know, countries like I don't know, maybe Albania, North Macedonia, Kosovo, also Montenegro, Bosnia, they're on a different level of development of the trail than, for example, Croatia or Slovenia can work together and also, you know, copy some of the successful experiences that also in Slovenia or Croatia were implemented already, or also in the whole Mediterranean. So yeah, and I agree. I mean, it would be great if we can meet September, but yeah, I think that we should first do this thing in June, so, you know, we have something more to discuss or to work on for, you know, for when we see in person. So yeah, thanks everybody, and yeah, hope to see you soon. Take care.
Thank you. Yeah, we'll be in touch. Anybody else who might say something? If not, I will give you all of the contacts. I'll send you on the emails which you used for the registration. You also have our emails and telephone numbers. So if you have any questions or ideas, yeah, please just write them down and send them to us. I would like to thank you all for sticking with us for this 2 hours. We were in the time, so yeah, I wish you all a nice day and a successful week ahead of us.
Warm greetings also from my side. Thank you for joining us today. I hope I hope it was useful, at least part of what was said that was useful to you, that will stick with you. And again, in my presentation, there will be all of the contacts of the sustainable tourism community. There you will have available contacts of all the partnership, and through them to all modular projects. And you will also have Dejan's and my contact. So please contact us if you have any idea also within the projects that you're doing now, that maybe the sustainable tourism platform, project platform can be useful to you. We are at your disposal if you want to join us in your project activities. So you can either invite us as the antenna for Slovenia and North Croatia, or you can invite any of the partnership, anyone from the partners of the partnership to join, to say something or to contribute to your project activities that you're doing in other projects. Thank you again. And we wish you all a nice day.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye.
Thank you.